All righty. Hello, folks. John Henry Soto here. JHS Interviews. I want to thank you all for watching, everyone, in the past couple of days. Everybody's been really supportive. And today I have an awesome guest, my very, very, very good friend. Oh, hold on one second. I got this YouTube channel going. While we're going, YouTube is a little bit behind us and I hear it. So now it's like, I got to keep remembering to turn that off. Technical issues. All right. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. This is Elom Bowman. I want to thank you for being on. Amazing artist. When I first saw your stuff in Bayonne, I was like, wait, what? Because I saw you walked in with your with your shoes, and I was thinking, and I immediately, they were like, if I remember correctly, they were like bright orange, but they had like, it was just like an
Mhm.
amazing pattern. It was like just, and I was like, I double took, and then I found out that that's your business. That's that's what you do, and then I saw you do body painting, and I was just so impressed. And then I met you, and we kind of, I think we've spoken a couple of times at different events and stuff, and we follow each other on social media. You're just a really really cool guy, a really down to earth guy, and a very intelligent guy. So I immediately thought you were on my list. I have a list of people that I want to ask, and you were on my list of those people that I wanted to ask to see if they would want to come on and just talk about your art and your passion and stuff. And so I want to thank you for taking the time to do this tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Happy to be
Yeah, it's
here.
my pleasure, my pleasure. So were you live in New York, right?
Yeah, well, currently at the moment, I'm back in Philadelphia, at least temporarily.
Oh, right, right,
I'm here
right. I forgot. I think you did. Yeah, yeah.
quarantining at mom's. I'm here quarantining at mom's house. Wearing my hat to hide my mini fro that has seemed to grow during this time. But yeah, I'm here at least for the moment. But
Yeah,
still making it happen with business and all, and
yeah.
still
That's
keeping
awesome.
it moving.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was your? Where were you born originally? In Philly?
I was actually born, and a lot of people don't know this. I was actually born in Oxford, England. I was born overseas.
Oh, wow.
Um, when my parents were together, my dad was in the Air Force, and they were stationed in England at the time that I was born. But I was still, I was still a baby when we came back to the States. So that's
Yeah,
why I don't have an English accent because I grew up in Philly. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
am
yeah.
a product of Philadelphia.
Got it. Do you remember what age you were where you started kind of like drawing, or that passion came to you to as an artist?
Oh man, I was really young. I had to be. I mean, I've been drawing probably since I learned how to walk. Basically, like I say, like 5, 6, 7 years old was probably when I first remember drawing. Because I grew up, as you know me personally. I'm a big comic book fan,
Mm-hmm.
and I was always into comic books as a kid. And there was something about there was something about comic book art, like it had kind of like an in your face kind of energy to it that kind of
Mm-hmm.
really sucked me in. And I used to get pieces of paper and I would get my comic books and I would like kind of trace over the action scenes because I wasn't really that good yet. And
Yeah.
then, as time went on, I would just keep, asking my mom for paper and she would give me paper and pen and pencils and I would just start doodling and sketching and, I just never stopped. I mean,
Wow.
this continued pretty much all the way up to now. I just never stopped. And
Yeah.
I've always loved art. I didn't go to school for it, so I'm a self-taught artist.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
it's pretty much been a passion of mine for as long as I've been living.
That's awesome. Did you ever think that you would do it as a career, or was it something that you just kind of progressed into?
I would say I kind of always knew I wanted to do it as a career. I wasn't sure exactly what field of art I wanted to get into. At one time, I did want to be a comic book artist, but I kind of just never really pursued that. I don't know why, but and I used to draw my own characters. I used to kind of make up my own characters. That was something I've always loved doing. Like even today, I'm still a comic book fan. So it's played a big influence in a lot of my work. I mean, even down to doing like comic book themed shoes. And
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, I knew I would say since I was a teenager that somehow, some way, I wanted to incorporate art into my career. I wanted to do something that was art related. I kind of slacked off for a while. I didn't really get into it, but I mean, I didn't really pursue it as hard as I should have. But then, I know we'll probably get into this soon, but when the sneaker thing came along, that's kind of like when I found my niche. That's when I was kind of like, okay, I think I know where I want to take this.
Yeah. Yeah, that was gonna be my next question. Like when did you when did that idea pop in? Did you see somebody else do it and that gave you the idea? Or was it just something that like, I could do this on a sneaker? Was that something that that just hit you, or how did that go?
Well, since getting into my teens, I was always, like most teens, I was into fashion and things like that, and there were these two guys in Harlem that I saw do custom sneakers. They were doing like real basic color stuff, but I just thought it was interesting because I was like, I would see them doing these, custom colors on like some of my personal favorite shoes, and I was like, I should. First, I was like, maybe I'll try to order a pair from them, but then I was like, I have a background in art. Maybe I can try my hand at this, and I kind of experimented. Went through some trial and error, ruined a couple pairs of shoes along the way, but
Mhm.
I kept at it until I perfected my craft. This was like around 2002 that I started
Mhm.
this, and I just kept at it until I perfected my craft. I started off doing like really basic stuff, and then I started to experiment with like more details and like to get a little artsy with it. And I would, and this was before Facebook, this was before
Yeah.
MySpace, before YouTube. So I didn't have tutorials on like now on YouTube there's like a tutorial on how to do
Everything, yeah.
everything, but I didn't have that when I started, so I had to pretty much teach myself. And it's like when you really want to learn something, you're going to try to learn it no matter what. So I just kept at it, and I just kept at
Yeah.
it, and I kept
Well,
getting better with it, and here I am.
yeah, yeah, you're definitely great. I know you've been featured in different places. You were on TV. I think last year you were there was a TV spot on you, right? I think it was it last year. I don't remember, but I did see something where you were featured because your work is it's something about energy, like what you said about the comic book thing. It's like it's so true. Like I didn't get into I did get into comic books, and I do have in the basement now. I have like my Green Arrows because I always loved Green Arrow. Like that was my favorite character. I had
Mm-hmm.
like a Green Arrow doll or whatever, and I had comic books on, so I have a bunch of Green Arrows, and I still have them. And there is something that is energetic about them. Like when you really look at them, you really feel the action in there, and they're not moving. You know what I mean? And but they're
Mm-hmm.
drawn in such a way that they feel like they have energy and they're moving. Your sneakers have that element to them, and you just recently did the like a Marvel series, right? Because I saw I posted them
Mm-hmm.
up on Facebook because I was like, did you just recently do those?
Yeah, well, those aren't recent. Some of those were maybe about 2, 3 years ago.
Okay.
I did them at different times. Some of those were pairs I did for different clients. But I mean,
Mhm.
I posted them the other day because it was the anniversary of the Avengers movie.
Oh,
So
okay.
I reposted those. And but yeah, I've done quite a few superhero themes over time. But I
Yeah.
mean, those were, yeah, about 3, 4 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I got sucked into the whole Avengers thing with my son because I thought he would like Iron Man, so I wanted to entertain him. So I put on Iron Man and I'm like into it, and I just never really, I don't know, I just never got into those type of films. But now I'm like hooked. I'm on I got the Disney Plus channel things, and I'm watching all the Marvel, all of them, and I had to go online because I don't like to see things out of sequence. You know what I mean? Like I
Mhm.
don't want to see Iron Man appear in this episode, but then before he meets, I just didn't want to see it out of sequence and stuff. And they do mix these things together, like a lot of the Avengers and stuff. So I wanted to get a sequence.
Mhm.
So online, you can get like a whole sequence of how you should see the films and where the characters kind of come in
Mhm.
and stuff.
Mhm.
So I've been doing that because I'm weird, but I
There's
really got into that.
A lot of Marvel films to catch up on. There's a
There's
whole,
a whole
there's a ton of them. I mean, I,
yeah,
I, I love it though because showing my age here, but when I was a kid, we didn't get a lot of superhero movies. First movie I remember seeing was Superman the movie, the very
yeah,
first
yeah,
Christopher Reeve Superman, and that was during the time where we were lucky if we got a superhero movie once every 10 years. It's like now
man,
there's like five of them a year, five, six a
yeah.
year minimum.
Yeah, yeah, and I think when that film came out, because I remember that very, very vividly. I remember the commercials, and it was just like, oh my god, like Superman. I remember seeing, and I'm not that old to remember the show when it was originally on TV, but when George Reeves was playing Superman in black and white, and they would run on like Channel
Hmm.
9, and my grandfather was always loved those kind of old shows. So we would always watch Superman, and that was like the only Superman I remember watching. Growing up, it was black and white. So when Christopher Reeves came out, it was a big deal, and now it's all over the place. But it does tie into like the energy that you put into your sneakers. What do you? And by the way, I wanted to correct me. How is it sneaker art? Is it shoe art? I've heard different terms, and I don't want to say something that's I don't know what the art form is called. Is it sneaker art? Shoe
I just call
art?
it sneaker art. I mean, sneaker art, shoe art. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not real funny about the name. I call it sneaker art just because that's mostly what I do.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I've done other types of shoes as well. I've done like purses, handbags, but I'm primarily do sneakers. I mean, that's what I'm into, and that's what my clients are into.
Yeah.
So, sneaker art is fine. That's fine. It
Yeah,
works for
yeah.
me.
Cool. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not one of those. I'm not one of
yeah,
those people like, oh, how dare you call it that? It shouldn't be
I
ever
know,
called that. Sneaker
I
art is
know.
fine.
Yeah, that's why I was saying it because I can't remember what happened before, but I called something once something that I thought that's what that something was because it seemed logical, but it turns out it was like completely wrong. It's sort of like calling a Star Trek fan, a Trekkie, right? That's
Mhm,
like if you're really a Star Trek geek, which I'm kind of a geek, but I'm like at 80%, but like I don't care about that
mhm,
20% about calling me a Trekkie, right? But but they want to be called Trekkers, so I'm like,
mhm.
they don't want to be
Oh,
Trekkies,
I
they
never
want
heard that one.
to, yeah, Trekkers. If you get into, you see that, but um, so when you're working on your sneakers, what inspires you? Like what at the moment you decide that you're gonna do? Because you work a lot. Like you post a
Oh
lot,
yeah.
and I see you always like working, and it's like amazing. Like what inspires you? Is it obviously clients are asking you for stuff, but is there sometimes
Mhm.
something that you just want to kind of do and put out?
Yeah, I mean, I get so many crazy ideas. I get a lot of inspiration from graffiti, from pop art. I'm a big fan of abstract art as well,
Hmm.
and those things kind of play an influence on my work. Nature,
Yeah.
like nature, like animals that have like cool patterns, like tigers and
Hmm.
chameleons, and I mean, I get inspiration from so many places. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'll just be like out on a walk with my earbuds in, listening to music, and I'll just start thinking of something, and I'm just like, ooh, you know what? I should do a design based on such and such thing. I've actually found myself at times going on my phone, like I have a notepad app. I find myself writing ideas down, like, oh, try try out this idea and
Yeah.
on this shoe, and and I'll come back to it. Sometimes I'll do like a little mock up. Sometimes I'll do a mock up one day and I'll be like, oh man, that looks really cool. And I'll look at it the next day. I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? Like, I'm not doing it. or I might say, oh, this doesn't look as good, but I could touch it up and make it work somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I guess different moods inspire different ideas. I mean, I get so many different ideas based on
Yeah, yeah.
different things that just comes whenever.
Yeah, I mean, the artist never really sleeps, right? I mean, you know,
Yeah,
it's you got colors and shapes in your dreams. When they say that
yeah.
artists don't dream and that people don't dream in color, I always say, and that's not true at all. I see colors in dreams and music, and I feel all that
I've
stuff.
actually gotten up in the middle of the night at times and jotted down an idea that I
Yeah.
might have had in a dream. I'm like, okay, I think I'll do that. I'll do that when I wake up.
Yeah, 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 absolutely, absolutely. Because I mean, we're always operating on that wavelength of that aesthetic wavelength that I always talk about, where it's not to be arrogant about it, but it's it above sometimes the normal person's thinking because
Yeah.
that's what an artist does, right? An artist kind of thinks up
Yeah.
here in this other
Mhm.
world, and then people are kind of like, "Oh, what is that?" That's cool,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's what draws people to it.
I think about that a lot. Like I always think that like us creative types, whether I mean not just visual artists, but like musicians, dancers,
Hmm.
whatever, like just creative people, we kind of not to sound like we look down on other people,
Right,
but like we kind of do think in like another realm sometime that like other people may not understand.
right.
Like our brain
It
does
is.
kind of work crazy like that.
Yeah, and I think that that's what changes the culture. And that's what inspires the culture to do different things and to behave differently. I say this like if Jay Z wears his hat backwards or something or whatever he does, or he wears his shirt, whatever,
Mhm.
it's going to inspire people because he's an artist and people look up to that. And so an artist can influence a society. So that's why with this whole quarantine thing, let me ask you a little bit. I know you're obviously painting and working a lot right now. um
Mhm.
you know One of the things that I've been asking is like, what do you think? And this is a hard question, you don't even have to answer this. I've had people say, I don't know. I don't want to answer that. But like,
Mhm.
what do you think post COVID-19 artists look like right now? Like, what do I have my own views on it, obviously, and I think everybody does. But what are you working on that you think is going to be different? How do you think the industry is going to be different? Do you have any views on that at all, or or you just kind of like we're just waiting for this to end and let's get out there?
Well, I think post COVID-19, actually, I think you'll probably see a explosion of like new artists, or maybe I shouldn't say new artists, but maybe people who've always had that talent and never took the time to pursue it. Because unfortunately, during this situation, you have people who've lost jobs, people, because everybody's at home now, and
Hmm.
you might have people who who like you like me, they might go on Instagram and might look at YouTube. They might see somebody post an inspirational quote or video saying like, now is the time to do that thing that you've always thought about doing. And
Right.
you might have some people who are kind of pursuing that venture that they've always wanted to pursue, but they maybe use the excuse of, oh, I can't do it because I'm at work all day,
Right.
or because of this reason and that reason. And it's like, they have the time now, and I think a lot of people are going to really follow that path that they've always really wanted to pursue in their hearts. And I think
Mhm.
coming out of this, you're going to see a lot more people kind of following their dreams. I mean, whatever it is, not just art, but whatever field it is they want to. It could be somebody who's always wanted to be a cook, or who's always wanted to be like a baker or whatever. I
Yeah.
think you're going to see a lot of that. How do I think the industry is going to change? I mean, other than what I just said, I really don't know. Other than that, I mean,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess like an explosion of creativity. I mean, me personally, I'm just looking for new ways to market my product. I'm actually I actually have a lot of new work that I'm, going to be putting out post quarantine. Like I actually literally right next to me, I have boxes of sneakers sitting on my desk that I'm going to be getting to, both client pairs and pairs for myself. I'm looking to kind of like rebrand Eccentric Artistry a little bit. Nothing too drastic.
Yeah.
I'm not going to suddenly become Eccentric Artistry aluminum siding or anything like that, but
Right.
kind of just I mean, it's still going to be, the custom footwear, but kind of maybe give things a bit of a new look. But
Yeah.
it'll still be it'll still be a lot of what people are used to seeing me do. But I mean, you might see like even more intricate designs for me. Like you
Mm,
might see me kind of experiment with some stuff that I've never done before. Like, wow, I've never seen him do a shoe quite like that before.
yeah.
I'm kind of playing around with a little bit of stuff, behind the scenes. So,
That's
post
awesome.
COVID, I have a lot of, yeah, I got a
Yeah.
lot of stuff coming. It's like basically same book, different chapter.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, I think a lot of artists are doing, what you said earlier. I think we have actually in an earlier show spoke about that, about all these people that are sitting at home with these dreams that wanted to do something and now they have the opportunity to do it, or at least to kind of like make an attempt to go towards it. A lot of people are going to come out. And yeah, I think there's going to be an explosion of art. I always think that the artist is really the savior of the planet, in my opinion. And I get corny
Yeah,
about it, but
me
I
too.
don't. I mean, I don't really care. I don't really have a, a care button about that stuff. But I do feel that the artist does influence society to a degree that it will change it, and it can make it better.
Yeah, I
And
agree. I agree with that 100%.
yeah, and moving out of this, it's a responsibility, really. You know what I mean? Like you right now saying, you're gonna try, even at your level, which is like a very high level, you're still willing to try stuff and work on in more,
Mhm.
different things and improve yourself, which is part of what an artist always wants to do. Is always wants to get better at whatever it is they're doing. So that's really awesome. Do you feel that that you're gonna have a different because I mean I think everybody has a different view on the world at this point. Because I personally, for me, I'll say that I just feel like I don't want to let opportunities. Sometimes I'll say, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, but I don't go jump on it as much, and I'll get it done, but it won't be like I'm gonna just jump on it. I feel now that I'm not doing that anymore. Like when I have that thought of something that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go towards it because anything could happen, and it's like it's a responsibility. So that's my views on it. Like I don't want to hang out and not do something. Do you feel that
Mhm.
as well? Like not a pressure, but that responsibility that's a little bit more important now. What we're doing, it's more important. It's not we're artists, and artists kind of hang out. We're like, hey, yeah, we're artists, this is awesome, but now you realize, man, we're artists, we better take care of this planet because there are some cuckoos out there that are not interested in what we do. And you can tell from the amount of support that the school art programs get and everything else, that it's just not really up on, depending on where you are in the world. Some places in the world, they actually do still revere the artist. But here it's a little bit rough sometimes, so we got to push harder, and that's one of the things that I want to do. Is I want to push much, much, much harder when we get out, when we get paroled. I want to push much, much harder after all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. Like, I think sometimes people don't realize just how important artists are. Like you said, artists, they pretty much save the world, change the community. I mean, everything around us was created by artists. I mean, from the
Everything.
clothes we wear to the buildings we live in. I mean, designed by
Everything.
architects. I mean,
Yeah.
the cars we drive, everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the familiar packaging on items that that we see the logos of and related to a particular brand or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I mean, we are important. We are very important.
Yeah. Yeah. I think people take that for granted because it's just there,
Mhm.
but people don't realize somebody had to think of that to put that there. It wasn't there before. And that becomes a great thing. I get really philosophical and corny about it when I talk about like God and stuff. And I think, you know, whatever obviously I believe in God. And I think if you look at this planet and the beautiful things that we have on this planet, this was created by God. So who's the biggest artist of all? You know what I mean? It's God.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
why are we not trying to continue that work, and try to make this place beautiful and continue making it beautiful? So I get very, passionate and emotional about it because, because like what you said, people just don't take it seriously. They take it for granted. They think that, and the whole term starving artist is such a BS thing that was,
Yeah, yeah, I hate that
developed by some
term.
people that I don't know who put that out there. But if you fall into that trap and you start using that, I've said in the past that a it becomes a really good cushion to not take responsibility. It becomes a good excuse for saying, well,
Mhm.
I'm a starving artist, just like everybody else, so I'm gonna sleep all day, and I'm not gonna go out, I'm not gonna hustle, and I'm not gonna hit the pavement every day. So I think it's really, really important, but all that.
Yeah, I can't stand that term either, the starving artist term. And
It's a terrible, yeah.
I'm a firm believer in law of attraction.
Oh yeah,
And if you kind of had that if you have that attitude of, you're a starving artist, then you're going to continue to be a starving artist because that's the type of energy you put
absolutely,
out there. I
absolutely.
mean, of course, you have to put the work in, but you have to really believe that you are a successful artist, that you are important, that
Yeah,
you have the talent and the know-how and the drive to really get where you want to be in life. I mean,
right.
it's important. It's important to each of us.
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit backward. I have a thing here. This is a this is a piece of a tree, a Christmas tree. And in
Hmm.
2010, I was working selling Christmas trees. I was chopping trees, and it was overnight. So people would come in, I have to like chop them. So I got into a fight with the guy who ran the place, and I kind of like cursed him out or whatever, and I walked out, and this was the last tree I cut, and I
Hmm.
picked it up on the way out, and I wrote on it, be, do, have, right?
Hmm.
And this
I like
basically
that.
means, be. You have to first be an artist, because a lot of people, they
Hmm.
think that, I want to do art, so then I can, I want, so I can, or I want to have, I want to do art so then I can have success, so then I can be an artist. You know what I mean? So I can be
Hmm.
that thing, and that's not the way it works. It's backwards. You got to first be. You got to say, I am this. I am an artist. Like right now, I'm doing these shows. I said, all right, I'm a talk show host. I'm hosting a show, and I'm gonna put out, and I'm
Hmm.
gonna call everybody I know, and I'm just gonna, we're gonna have conversations on here, and then I'm gonna do the work. I'm doing this. I'm doing, I did some of these little graphics. I'm not really good at this stuff, but this is what I put together, and the technology and all that stuff. I'm a green screen. That part I'm good at because I do film stuff. But and then at some point, that's when you have the success, and I've already had success doing this because I've had great conversations with people like with you and a lot of other, what I mean? So the idea of the whole starving artist thing is so true, that if you put that out there, it's the law of attraction. If you just say, you know, and if you say this is what I am, then that is what you are, whatever it is, whether it's good or
Yeah,
bad.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
definitely it's a huge thing to learn. Let me see. I had a question here. Oh yeah. So one of the things that I like to impart to any of the viewers, especially artists that are viewing, what piece of advice do you have that's tangible? Like a lot of the times I'll hear people giving advice, and I'll watch tutorials, and I'll watch, motivational guys, and a lot of it is kind of like, it's all great, it's all based in like truth, like you got to keep
Hmm.
going, you don't give up,
Hmm.
just keep on moving forward, and and all that good stuff, that it's good and it's fine. But I like tangible stuff, like like I sometimes will tell people, go to these two websites. These two
Hmm.
websites are legitimate, and they will help you get that. I'll try to find something that's a little bit more tangible for the viewer, or for somebody asking me anything. Do you have anything like that that you could, like, for maybe an artist that wants to get involved? Like, what should they really do other than the doingness of it? But is there anything else that you can impart? Any wisdom?
Best thing I could say is, I mean, whatever field of art it is that you really want to get into, study your craft. I mean, just study your craft, whether it's the doing part, researching online, reading books, whatever it is. I mean, if you're really serious about it, like I said, like I said, with me, I was really serious about what I do, and I did all kinds of research, trial and error, to to figure out my craft.
Yeah.
You know, just do your research. I mean, and whatever field you're getting into, I guess know your audience.
Yeah.
Um, Drawing a blank here. But
It's
yeah,
okay. But
just I mean, just really study your craft. You have to practice it. You have
yeah.
to really dedicate time to it. However that may be. Obviously, people are going to try to discourage you along the way. Don't let people discourage you. Oh, another thing, don't compare yourself to other artists. You may see
Ah,
another artist whose work you think is like 10 times better than yours. And that's fine and good if you're a fan of their work, but don't compare yourself to them. Because some
right.
people will compare themselves to another artist and be like, oh man, I could never be that good. Like
I know. And
what he does is amazing. I don't think I could ever do that. Like,
yeah.
don't compare yourself just and like don't I tell people this all the time on like Instagram because I would get messages from people sometime who want to do custom sneakers and they ask me for advice and stuff. And I tell them, just really practice your craft. Like, don't be in a rush to have 20,000 followers.
Right.
Don't do it for the likes. Really
Right.
take your time to hone your skills because it's not going to happen overnight. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been, like I said, a custom sneaker thing. I've been doing it for 18 years. This is my 18th year doing this now. And
Wow.
I've been
Yeah.
drawing longer than that. So it doesn't
Yeah.
happen overnight, but you have to really love it. You have to because it's going to be ups and downs. So you have to really love what you do as well because I've had so many bumps in the road that if I didn't love this, I would have quit a long time ago. But
Of
the
course.
fact that I love what I do is a testament to how long I've lasted. Because like when you really love your craft, people can see it and they will gravitate to you.
Mhm.
They will see that you really love what you do because it shows in your product,
Yeah.
and they will gravitate to that.
They feel the sincerity in it, and
Mm-hmm.
that it's true, it's real, it's genuine is really what it is. And that's why people gravitate towards any artist, really. It's um but your two tangible things I think that I took from that were definitely research, because I think that's something that a lot of people don't do enough of, because everything is so easily accessible online, and it's like, well, I could just watch videos here and then, watch a video on this and watch a video on that and watch a video on this. But that's not the research that you need to really be doing. It's other more in-depth research. Find artists that you really like and really find out why they are the way they are and why you like them, and kind of that part of it I think is really, really important, the research part. And then the not comparing yourself to other ones, man, that is like huge. That is like the cancer to some people. They would look at somebody else and be like, oh man, I can't believe that, they're so good, and if you start doing that, man, forget it, it's over. You have to really, the way I look at it is, when I was playing guitar and when I was playing a lot, I was really good at playing. I'm a good player, but I wasn't good at cover songs, right? So I just was not a good. You can't tell me to play a song because I don't really know that many songs. I know a lot of Santana songs and some Clapton and some stuff like that, but I'm not going to sit there and know every single note from all these songs. So but sometimes I'd be in a situation where I'd be in a room with a guitar player that like knows like Van Halen, so
Mm-hmm.
so of course he's like, and I'm like, oh my God. But then the way I pulled myself out of that was that I was thinking to myself, he's not Van Halen either. You know what I mean? He's basically playing Van Halen notes, and it's fantastic and it's great for him. But I want to be me. What I mean? I'm trying to be myself. I'm trying to do my thing. And that's where you kind of have to always kind of like go right back into again. This is me. This is my stuff. That's great, fantastic, but this is me, and I'm gonna work on me. And I think those are two very good, tangible tools that somebody can take out and be like, okay, I'm gonna research, and I'm not gonna compare myself, you know.
Oh, and
And
another thing too. This is kind of a small one, but I would tell people, keep an open mind because sometimes you may get inspiration from someone who's in a totally different field, and
mm,
they may something they may say or do may inspire you, and you
Yeah.
might want to apply it to your field. You know,
Yeah.
that happens too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I listen to Grant Cardone, who's a real estate guy, and
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
and I do real estate here, but not at that. He's a real estate investor, not an agent. And
Mhm.
I follow him because his motivational speeches and his 10x thing and stuff. And I read a lot of his books, not all of them, but I read pretty much all of them. Just and it's not my field, you know what I mean, but it is something that I definitely use, in my life. So that's on point as well. Um, so what are you working on now? Like you said, you have some stuff that's coming up. Are you going to be launching this as a new website or on your website? Where can people see some of your stuff also?
Well, I'll be updating my website. I'll have probably like a new website URL. I'll try to link my old one to the new one so that people that are familiar with the old one will see the new one. Because I want to relaunch with like a whole bunch of new custom themes that I've been working on, like some really new stuff. Um, I was supposed to be doing an art show in New York this month, but obviously that didn't happen. Um,
Right.
but just kind of like a new coat of paint for eccentric artistry, and kind of a
Yeah.
new look, kind of like the same feel. It won't be too foreign to people who are familiar with my work.
Yeah.
So it'll still be familiar, but it'll be like a whole bunch of new designs, basically like new energy. It's like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know. It's kind of like our artist who's been doing music for a while, and he just signed a new record deal with a new company, and they putting out a new project.
Yeah. Yeah. I
It's the
think.
same artist that people are familiar with, but just
Right.
new energy and a new label
Yeah.
situation or whatever. Kind of a thing like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of artists, I guess, are in that situation right now. Sort of like a new thing, a new, not necessarily a new start, but just a new flavor kind of a deal.
Mhm.
Um, do you have anything that you can show us that you would mind showing us? Any sneaker nearby?
Oh yeah, sure. I'll start off. I'll show you. This is a pair that I've been working on for a customer. This is something
Nice.
recent that I did. It's kind of like a sunset theme.
Yeah.
This is actually something I'm working on for a client right now. I'm like
Oh, okay.
almost done. They wanted something with like a. This is actually for somebody in Australia, so
Oh, wow.
I get clients all the way on the other side of the globe. Um,
Amazing.
I do high heels too. This is all hand
Oh, get
painted.
out. I didn't know that.
Yeah, this is all, and all of my work this is all hand painted work.
Yeah.
I don't use an airbrush. People are usually surprised to hear that. Not, not that I have
Wow.
anything that's airbrushing, but hand painting is just more organic to me.
Yeah.
It's kind of like home cooking from scratch. You know,
Right, right.
something else I worked on. This shoe here is actually themed after a wrestling company called New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Oh,
Like the
wow.
design pattern is actually their logo. This is their logo on the back. I don't know if you can see it, but that is
Wow.
actually
Yeah, I
their logo.
totally got
And
that.
the shoe pattern is actually modeled
Yeah.
after their logo. Again, it's
Wow.
all hand
Is
painted.
that looks like a big shoe. Is that for an actual wrestler or something?
No, that's my pair. It's a size 11. I wear a size 11. That's actually mine.
Damn. I was
That's
like,
actually that's straight from my closet.
that's awesome.
And just a little something
Oh,
else I
wow.
worked on, something abstract. No real theme to it. Just wanted to do something crazy and abstract.
Yeah.
And
I love it. I love it.
like I said, I do everything by hand, so the process could take anywhere from 8 to 10 hours, maybe more, depending on
Mhm.
how much detail goes into it. Because
Yeah.
I have to do a lot of prep work to the shoe, then multiple coats of paint, and then the sealing, process when it's done. So there's a lot
Right.
of work that goes into it. But I mean, it
Yeah.
might be tedious
So
to some people, but I enjoy it.
yeah, no, definitely. I mean, that's why it's art.
Hmm.
It's art, so and not just one, you got to do it twice. You got to do two
Yeah,
pieces.
exactly. Yep.
It's like doing two Mona Lisas back to back. Um,
Mhm.
do you you have a lot of followers like on do you get a lot of clients from you said Australia one pair? Do you get a lot you get from pretty much everywhere?
Yeah, I mean, I've had clients as far as Australia, the UK, Japan, um, France.
Wow.
I mean, most of my clients are domestic, but I've had clients from all over.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. And do you, when you market, like marketing, just for a minute, we don't have to go too deep into marketing, but do you use just word of mouth mainly, or just organic, or do you actually do paid ads?
I do both actually. I mean, most of it has been word of mouth, but since Instagram started incorporating, the paid ad thing and Facebook and stuff like that, I do a lot of that too. Um,
Okay.
eventually I might jump into the YouTube arena one of these days. I actually set up a YouTube channel years ago, but it's been kind of neglected. But it's
Yes.
something I might come back to eventually. I'm on
Yeah.
TikTok as well. I don't use it a whole lot, but I'm kind of playing around with that too. So, I
Yeah.
mean, as all these new social media platforms come along, I'm always kind of like looking into that, seeing if it's something that I could use as a tool. I mean, because, most businesses, pretty much, every successful business now uses social media in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
Yeah.
social media is like the new thing. It's like you almost don't have a business if you're not on social media in some form. It's like, it's like
Yeah.
a major tool.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And I think also not every single platform is gonna be for every single person. It's like Instagram is like perfect for you because it's visual, and there's it's very robust with its hashtags and its and all those things. Whereas Facebook is still good, but it's not as user friendly for that kind of or that maybe I'm wrong in that, but I'm sure that if you had a good, marketing thing, it might be fine. But I don't know enough about that genre to see if it works on Facebook or not. But I'm just kind of just thinking from what I see on Facebook generally. Um,
Facebook
but
works okay for me, but Instagram is like my number one. The only one that really
absolutely,
doesn't work for me that I've had was probably Twitter. I mean, because I don't know.
yeah, yeah. I can see Twitter is 140 words, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's about it. YouTube, I think, would be really, really great for you though, because I think
Yeah.
YouTube tutorials and stuff. Like I know you've been doing a little bit of that because I did follow you were doing some. I could see you actually working and stuff. You actually are painting, like actual
Mhm.
paintbrush. Like people don't realize that it's not an airbrush. But I think
I want
YouTube
to do
videos.
more time lapse videos.
Yeah, you. I think you
Yeah.
mentioned that,
I
right?
want
You
to
were
get.
gonna do.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, that would go great on Facebook, man, because people on Facebook on YouTube. I think people would really like that. So that's definitely
Mhm.
something to consider for sure. Awesome, man. So listen, I want to thank you so much for your time, man. You are awesome. You're a cool guy. You're also an amazing talent. I really appreciate you taking the time. Um,
Mhm.
and do you have anything you want to add? Any final thoughts?
Um, just thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed this convo.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Hopefully when all of this, is over, this parole, as you say, when we get paroled, as you say, hopefully we can meet up again.
Yeah.
I'm looking to get back out to the New York, New Jersey area, and we can meet up again. And for people who are seeing me for the first time, I am on Instagram. I have multiple Instagram accounts. I don't know if you're going to link it in the video or anything,
Yep,
but
I will.
my Instagram accounts are Elom is Eccentric, and then my other one is Eccentric Artistry. That's eccentric is spelled kind of funny, but I'm
Yeah.
on. Those are my two main Instagram accounts, and from
Yeah,
there
I'm gonna
you can
have
link to
your
my website.
yeah, I'll have your bio in the description and all your links to find you and stuff. So absolutely. That'll be all in the description. I'll pull that off your website also if that's okay. I can put your website
Okay.
on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. get all that
Yeah,
on
sure, that's
there.
fine.
And yeah, yeah. So definitely, Elam, thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate you. This has been great,
Thank you for
and
having me.
yeah, man, it's my pleasure. We'll definitely do it again. I'm gonna probably go another round. I also wanted to get a couple of artists at the same time and have more people on the conversation. So I might do that. I might call up on you if you're available to kind of jump in on that as well if you're interested, and
Okay,
we'll be
cool.
doing that at some
Very
point for
cool.
sure. Yeah. So thank you so much, man. Have a great night. And actually,
Okay.
don't hang up just yet. I'm gonna get off of YouTube and then I'm gonna chat with you for a second. So everyone, thank you so
Okay.
much. YouTube audience, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching anything. This is Elom Bowman. I'll have all the information down there in the description, and I will talk to y'all very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Good
Take
night.
care.